Hello YouTubes, this is Grimweird coming back at you with more Enigmatica 2 Expert Mod Pack playthrough action for Minecraft 1.12.2. This episode, we want to try and push out one more thing on Blood Magic before we go back to Britannia. And that is, because I made all of the ritual stones necessary to do it, I want to go ahead and get it started just to experiment with it. And that is to make a greater Tartaric gem. And if you'll remember, this basically is a battery for demonic will that can be used in crafting. But to make one of those, we need a Demon Will crystal, and that is obtained through the Gathering of the Forsaken Souls ritual. And when I was making stuff for the ritual over here, I did make enough extra to do that crystal, that one, so I want to get that done. First, at the end of last episode, I got really nauseous and realized that I had depleted the sort of aerated network of LP, which is the currency from this life pool, and that was from leaving this ritual running down here. So I did create a little bit better of a situation here. So I've now got two sets of elevators. I've got this light gray or white one here that just goes down a little bit. You can see that's my blood altar right there. And this is where that ritual is. I filled in the floor with marble just to make it easier to walk around on it. And then if I want to turn this back on, I can just slap down the Master Ritual Stone here in the middle and activate it and turn this ritual back on that damages things and supplies LP to our blood altar. And then if we go back up for the mob situation, if we go down one, you can see that I have taken out the second story powered spawner. Definitely two powered spawners was overkill for witches. The witches regenerate, so they pretty quickly populate that and give you a nice, dozen witches or so for this ritual. So then what I've done here is I still can come to this sort of second story down. So right above us, this is the rune room. And so here, I can come down here, I can access the spawner here and turn it off, and then I can switch to my laser and shoot all the remaining witches and clean up that bottom floor if I need to, and then go down to that floor if I need to get in here. So this is all sort of cleaned up and made it easier to basically activate and deactivate that ritual. And now what we want to do is set up another ritual. So we set up another mob spawning room. We're going to set the ritual up right here. And one thing that I didn't do, which I should have done, was center this in a chunk. So that's my bad, but I've already committed, so I don't really care. I'm not trying to optimize blood magic. I'm just trying to sort of make it through the this expert mod pack and learn my lessons as I go. So if we look up here, so up above here is going to be sort of the center of our ritual. You can see I've made the floor out of dirt and then put a drop of evil on this floor and converted all of the cursed earth. So as soon as we remove the torches, we should get a lot of spawning here. Which leads me to a safety tip. So if we take a look at the Astral Sorcery tome. So one of the things I did was I had a bunch of available perk points, and I sort of just bashed through them and grabbed a bunch without really thinking about it or knowing anything about any of them. One of the ones I took was Miner's Delight. Places light sources close to you in caves. Well, so here's the thing. You guys have seen me use the cave illuminator and seen all of those little wispy yellow lights everywhere that light things up underground. And I love those, and those are great and whatever. Well, I sort of forgot I took this Miner's Delight thing. So I'm down here trying to make, a dark spawning room, and those yellow lights were appearing, and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go take down the cave illuminator. So I took down a cave illuminator that I had right over here above my fort, and I was still getting those yellow things. And then I remembered I had another one over here, which is probably more than 3 chunks away, but I ran over and took that one away, and I was still getting the damn yellow lights down here. And I would destroy the yellow lights by putting a block over them, and they kept coming back. And I was like, what the hell? And so then I thought, well, I must have another cave illuminator somewhere around. And so I pulled out my scanner and I attuned a object card to cave illuminators. And I'm like scanning, looking for a cave illuminator. There wasn't one. And then finally I went, okay, I'm totally missing something here. And that's when it finally dawned on me that I took this damn Miner's Delight perk, and I was causing the sparks to appear, and that was just unacceptable. So I could not set up a dark room because those things kept spawning. So I'm never taking that again. Now, how do you get rid of that? Well, that took a bit of looking around, but if we look at research, attunement, so there's 2 ways to deal with that. One is perk sealing, which is basically you make a sealing sigil, and then once you have one of those in your inventory, you can then have the option of basically slapping it on that spot and deactivating that one spot. The other thing is just redoing the whole mess, and that's what I decided to do because I'm not that into. I mean, I'm so far along on the tech trees that the magic thing is not that big of a deal. It's just sort of a little benefit. So to unattune yourself completely from the thing and reset all of your perks and zero them out, so you will have to re-level things, you can make this shifting star. And with that, you put it in your hand and you shoot it like a bow. In other words, you hold and it like draws like you're drawing a bow, and then finally it snaps and breaks. So it is one use, but it unattunes you and wipes out all of your perk tree. So that's what I did, and then I did that, and Vicio still happened to be up, so I just went ahead and re-grabbed it, reattuned myself to it, and now I have a bunch more points again, and I can get back into this if I want to. And I'm going to stop and think before I go further, because I got to see what I really want to do there, be a little bit more conscious. And as I go up in speed, my field of view gets wonky again. All right, that looks okay. So anyway, that aside, we set up this dark room. So apparently the ritual, if we center it up here, much like the other ritual, has a radius of 10 from the center point. So in other words, it'll go 10 blocks out that way, it will damage things. 10 blocks out that way, it'll damage things. 10 blocks out that way, it'll damage things, and etc. Now, apparently what it does when it kills things and damages things is it puts demonic will into the chunk, aerated demonic will. So usually you're getting demonic will by taking, like, I think it's the bound blade and whacking on things. So it's this bad boy. Let's take a look at that. So you shift right click with this. It puts a dot on you, I believe, or damages you. Where's this guy? Go over here. Weak blood shard. This is the blood shard one. Pardon me. I'm getting lost again. We're actually wanting to do the sentient weapons. Where's my sentient weapon? Here. So yeah, demonic will, usually what you're doing is you're whooping these guys, and your demonic will is either getting dropped as a little ghost shape, or it's being sucked into these tartaric gems. If I put all my tartaric gems away for a moment, and we go find a monster real quick. Let's see, so sentient weapon, monster. Not a creeper, don't want to deal with a creeper. Zombies are good, skeletons are good. Alright, so there's one. Boom, demonic will. So now this is how you usually get demonic will. And if you have some of this in your inventory with space in it, you will suck it straight into there. So for instance, this one obviously has a little bit of space on it. So if we throw that and suck it up, it'll go into one of these. So in other words, it's a pretty manual process to get demonic will. What we're trying to do with this is this will actually kill monsters and sort of aerate the chunk with demonic will. And you then use demonic crystallizers, Demon Crystallizer, to grow crystals out of that aerated stuff. So these are what we need to do to close out the craft book. So what'll happen is we will put a ritual here. That ritual will put demon will into the air. We'll put down some demon crystallizers that will crystallize the aerated crystal into actual clusters, which we will then be able to break and get demon will out, in theory. And again, ideally this ritual would probably be centered in one chunk, and then your crystallizers would be in that chunk, and you would keep everything in one chunk. I did not know that when I started building my dark rooms, and so as you can see, I am about as far away from centered as you're going to get. So I think all of the will that I'm going to be producing is going to go into this chunk that's centered here. So I'll try and put my crystallizers in this chunk and see if that works. But I'm not sure if the monsters killed in the other half of my area are going to contribute to this chunk's aerated will. So I don't think we're going to get any aerated demonic will here. And I'm not sure any monsters killed on this half is going to help us here. That being said, don't care that much. Just trying to open up or just trying to complete the quest and get us some stuff that we need. So I'm just trying to get basically one demon will crystal is really all I need. I don't even need to necessarily do this ritual. I think I could make a I think there is a demon crucible. So I might be able to get away with putting one of my tartaric gems in this demon crucible. It burns the demon will, aerates it, puts it into the chunk, and then I could suck it back out with the demon crystallizer. And there's probably some loss there, I would guess. And I could probably get my crystal that way without ever dealing with this whole damn ritual. But I'm not sure, so we're going to do the ritual. Alright, so I've babbled and explained enough, so let's turn off the chunks. So I've got my Ritual Diviner Dusk. That's basically the second tier Ritual Diviner. Basically, you can shift right click through it. Let's just go ahead and do it. You can shift right click it. Give it a darker background so you can read it. And click through all of the different rituals to find the ritual that you want to build. And there are a lot of them. And I think you can only go one direction through this list, so sort of not the best interface, but whatever. I think we're getting close. Well of Suffering, Feathered, Unmaking, Fractured Crystal, Forsaken Souls. Okay. So Forsaken Souls, and now when we mouse over the Master Stone, it tells you what it's going to build. So that's what the structure it's going to put around using these ritual stones. So let's go ahead and get her done. So we'll just sort of right click that like we were bone mealing it. And you can see it puts it in there, and it turns generic ritual stones into all of the different colors of ritual stones. So you don't need to worry about that. All right. And I think it was a 44 stone ritual, and we used up 44 stones, so I think that's all good. So then the next thing we need to do is take our, let's see, I don't think I need either of those. Where's my activation crystal? I don't know. Hopefully it's in here. So we're going to take our activation crystal. Oh, that was it. I think I accidentally just put it in here. And hit activate. I'm not going to do it quite yet, but when we click activate on that, then I think we will use up a bunch of our aerated life essence and turn this on, and then it'll start slowly ticking down our aerated life essence. But let's go ahead and make the crystallizers. We're going to want, I guess, probably at least 4 of these, and each one takes a Hellfire Forge. So let's go try and craft these. So this is a normal crafting. Let's see if we have the stuff. So Hellfire Forge. Alright, I'm missing whatever that one thing was. Blocks of Mana Steel. Oh boy, I think I just threw all my Mana Steel through the elf portal. Alright, so I'm going to pause here. I'm going to make the 4 crystallizers and get those set up here nearby this thing. I think they have to be pretty close too, so I'm probably just going to set them. Let me double check that. I think I watched some video that said they need to be within +2 to +7. So if this is +1, we need to set them, I think, on top here. But I'll double check that, and I'll craft them. And when we come back, we will remove all the torches from our Cursed Earth dark rooms that are beneath it. And we will turn this thing on and see if it chooches. Be right back. Okay, we made a bunch of blocks of mana steel by just throwing iron into our pools of mana, and then we now have the stuff we need to do this. So I think that's all good. We can use one of these to power it. So these will be our 4 crystallizers, and we can make more, but again, I think this is mostly just me learning the system and trying to close out the quest book. So I'm pretty sure we want to have the crystallizers be in the same chunk as the Master Ritual Stone. So we're going to go ahead and put them down, and I think they need to be at least 2 above, or they can be 2 to 7 above. So we're just going to go like this will look a little ghetto, but I'm going to do that. And then I think I'm going to take my crystallizers and just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty, so let's go. Now, I've never played with Cursed Earth either, so that's another thing I'm learning here. So this could get real ugly real quick. That's why I decided to turn the camera on, because I know a little chaos is always good entertainment. So we're gonna, whoa, and that's exactly what I didn't want to have happen. Let's, Okay, yeah, this is quickly turning real ugly, isn't it? Super fast creepers are uncool. Let's try and repair this real quick. Wow, that's not good. Maybe I should have made the walls out of something unbreakable. Good thing I got some reach, so we'll just try and the only thing I'm really worried about is the creepers. But yeah, this is getting a little crazed. Wow. Alright, so I will need to think of a better way to deal with that situation. I'm going to go ahead and close that off. So, again, I'm trying to learn here, and the thing I just learned there is that I probably want to have some actual powered lighting and a switch so I can turn it on and off and run that switch to somewhere safe. Because, yeah, I knew Cursed Earth was going to be interesting. I didn't quite know it was going to be that interesting. Let's make sure I don't have any holes in my wall anywhere. I think everything's cool. Let's see what happens if we activate this. A rush of energy flows in. They're taking damage. Good. So they're definitely taking damage in multiple chunks, which is good. I would expect that. So now what I think is supposed to happen, and again, I'm new at all this, but what I think is supposed to happen is that soon this demonic will that is going to get released from the death of these monsters will start to crystallize on these demon crystallizers. And then once it starts to crystallize, it will start to grow. So one of the things we learned, or I learned last episode, was that we need to keep an eye on how much life we have in our network. So if I get this out, if I right click that, 109, 236, if I right click it again, 226. Alright, so it's not going down too fast. That is something we'll have to keep an eye on. So yeah, I'm going to have to ponder how better to do this. Again, I've never played with Cursed Earth, didn't know how bad it was going to be. I knew the monsters were going to be faster and more powerful. I didn't realize they were going to spawn so fast and run at you so fast, and we got to figure out how to basically turn that on and off. So nothing is happening yet. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and then also do a quick Google, make sure I haven't missed something. I sort of had expected by now to see the starting of a crystal on these 4, but I may have missed something. Settle down, you. Alright, so I'm going to pause the recording here. Well, things actually died there, so now we know things are dying, but still no will crystallizing. By the way, I know people love the Tinker's Construct Shuriken, but I really do love the fact that the laser gun can shoot through blocks. And when you put Illuminati on it, you know where to shoot, and it just makes me so happy. Is it as good a DPS as a Shuriken? I don't know. I don't care. I just love this. Alright, I'm going to pause the recording. I think I'm probably missing something. And so I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I was missing something. So the crystallizers and the gathering ritual accelerate the growth of crystals. However, it does not provide any will to start a crystal. So basically we need to make a demon crucible and put a little will in the air, and then basically seed the crystal growth. So this is it's not a generator of demonic will, it's a multiplier of demonic will. You put a little in, get more out. So I'm going to pause this. Well, let's see if we actually have the stuff for a demon crucible. It's a crucible. Oh yeah, we got the stuff for that. So let's go make one of those real quick. How are we doing on our life aura? 108, 498. We still got plenty LP in the air. So let's go try and make this. What did this cost again? Let's see, we can take that off and that off. This is going to be diamond, lapis, stone, and cauldron. I should have all that. Cauldron. Diamond. What else was there? Lapis and stone. We got stone. So cauldron, lapis, diamond, stone. That doesn't have enough juice apparently to cook it, so we'll use our big boy. There it goes. All right. And so now we want to put this into the same chunk as the crystallizers and the master ritual stone. So we're talking about this one. So let's go ahead and throw that right here. So right about here, looks good. And then we're going to place, we can place probably one of our little petty tartaric gems on here. Okay, so that's now in there. And we are now putting its demon will into this chunk's aura. So the demon crucible is burning the demon will out of that storage battery of the tartaric gem. It's adding it here into this aura. And then with that in the aura, that should spark these crystallizers to start crystals, and then hopefully the death of the monsters below, and this ritual will then cause them to grow faster. And when we harvest those crystals, we'll end out with more than we took, or more than we put in. So that sucked that pretty dry pretty quick. So maybe we need to use a better one. I think I left my other one in here. Let's grab that guy since it's empty-ish, half full. Turn off the chunks. Slap that in there. Wonder how quick it's draining it. Not draining that one quite as quick. It's 2 sizes bigger. Let's get that out of there. So how are we doing here? We still got plenty in here. So the other thing we can do is, well, one thing I know, if I ever do this again, I'm going to put a, well, first of all, I won't do it like this. Probably what I'd do is not set up a Cursed Earth Darks room under it, or maybe have Cursed Earth. But if I do have Cursed Earth, there would be a teleporter blocker for the Enderman. I would probably instead maybe just put witches. I don't know, I would do something. We can make a Demon Will Aura gauge, so this tells us how much we need a crystal to make that. Alright, if we get crystals here, we can, we have crystals, and they're already growing. Nice. So let's go ahead and, you can see we've actually got 3 different stages here. We've got a 1-banger, so this is what it looks like when it first spawns. Here we've got a 2-banger. Here we've got a 3-banger. And here we've got, now I think, what is that? That's a 7. I think 7 is the full deal. So we can now hit that. And that should go into our ME system thanks to the Global Traveler on our pickaxe. But if we open that up, we should now be able to go crystal. And it gave us 7. So 7-pointed star gave us 7. That is good. So let's go ahead and make one of these Demon Will Aura gauges. So now we have that. We need glass, redstone, and gold bar. We got all that. Glass. Redstone. Gold bar. So yeah, we do not probably need anywhere near as much monsters in there, so probably what I would do is something more like our trapped villager up there. So in other words, I would maybe put, I think you get better results if you have mixed mobs, but you could put down like a mob duplicator for a skeleton, a zombie, a witch, and something else. Basically, just try and keep things a bit cleaner. Has this got enough juice to power this? No. So we use this guy. Alright, so now we have one of these. Let's see what it is telling us, if anything. So we've got that big graphic up in the top left. I have no idea what it means. All right, well, there you have it. So now the other things we can do is I think we can also recharge our Tartaric gems out of the aura that is being generated by this. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see how this is looking. Okay, so this is drained. So now the question is, how do you use this stuff? Oops. So let's see. If we look here, Demon Crucible. So just standing on its own, it takes will out of the Tartaric gem, injects it into the aura of the chunk, which is what we just did. Another mode is to use the contained Tartaric gem to drain the will from the aura. This is done by applying a strong redstone signal to the crucible, and then the contained gemstone will try and drain as much will as possible. Finally, a discrete piece of will can be burned in the crucible if there is enough room in the aura of that type. So, for instance, we can put one of these demon will crystals into the crucible to fuel it. So for now, let's maybe try and put a redstone signal on this bad boy and see if we can charge up our baby Tartaric gem. I don't think we want to suck everything out of the aura, otherwise we'll stop growing crystals. But let's take a look and see what happens if we try this. So will the lever here work on this bad boy? It's been so long since I've used vanilla wiring mechanics, I'm not sure that this block is activating that block. But let's pull this out and see if it's filling up. No. I have a feeling that's not right. Let's pick that up and let's just set down a little bit of a marble next to it. Put the lever on the marble. So now we should be giving that thing a signal. How are things doing up here? We have not generated another thing. I wonder if we actually drained all of the aura out already. Let's see, okay, nothing is going into our little guy. What happens if we want to save one of those for crafting? Yeah, let's save two of those for crafting. Let's do that. Aha, the graphic is now filling up. And it's now drained again. So basically it looks like every time these build, or every time these add stuff to them, it drains some aura out. So until you get things going, you pretty much want to basically keep feeding will into these until you get a nice surplus going of these guys. So right, this guy's up to 7 now. So if we break it, hopefully we got 7 more crystals in here. Yes. And if we feed those into there, Takes a second to burn up, but I can see my monitor or my thing up in the top left is getting full and staying full, or not full, but we got a little bit of green in there. How are these looking? Okay, this guy's at 7. We can clear it. This guy's at 7. We can clear it. What's going on with this guy? So it stopped burning those, and it stopped making crystals. What you doing? Try and get high enough that it's not, we don't have to listen to the monsters. Well, let's see. We apparently have some stuff sitting up there, according to our demon gauge. What happens if we put this in now? Try and suck some of that out. It's not coming out, so if I pick it up, nope, it's still not coming out. All right, what happens if I put this in? Turn that off, put that in. All right, there it jumped up as it sucked that guy dry. Let's see if it's empty. It's not empty yet. If we do that, will it fill back up? Not doing much of anything. Aha, well, a crystal started, and the aura is now depleted, and it was the crystal starting that depleted it. We're not apparently drawing in or out anything from the Tartaric gem that we're putting down there, possibly because of this redstone signal. If I turn this to off and I put this down there, now I'm expecting it to take another big chunk out and put it into our thing. Yes, and we are sprouting crystals like crazy. And is this guy empty now? This guy's empty now, and our aura is, chunk is empty as well. Alright. We need to figure out how to get, let's see if we hit uses, if it says anything here. Hellfire Forge. Obtain through gathering. Yeah, we got that. Alright, so it looks like the thing to do would be to just automate all of this so that you're constantly feeding so there is another ritual that breaks these. So there's a ritual of fractured crystals or something. So what it does, you can put it above this and it'll break crystals off of crystallizers. And you can vacuum chest those and send them to the Crucible, and then just turn this into a huge round robin with some force multiplier going on, so that, you know, as you continue to bust them out there, slowly but surely your overall amount of will increases. That being said, I think that may be about enough experimentation for this mod pack. The main reason being is that I, still have my one full one, which I sort of want. I've got crystals to use in the crafting that I need to do. I've got more crystals here, so we are, I think, getting some will here. What happens if I put some in there? Okay, so it is burning these. I don't know why it stopped burning them. So you can see the crystals growing, so that's cool. So as I click these into there, we're potentially adding more. So I think that's sort of what you need to do, is you need to basically set this up to break those, feed them into here, break those, feed them into here, and then as you do that over time, you start growing up a surplus of all of this demon will crystal. And then probably we would put something somewhere else that would allow us to use that demon crystal to repower our Tartaric gems. But on the whole, I think we're gonna shut this whole operation down for a bit, because for this mod pack, so we have gone down about 1,000 LP here, so that ritual is sort of a pain. These are full grown at 7 spikes, so we can break that and that to give us more chances to have a start. So now we got 4 chances to start a new crystal. And when we do have a crystal, in theory, this will then burn and help grow that crystal. But on the whole, I think we've about got this whooped for now. I think the key thing we want to do here is turn off this ritual and clean out that cursed earth stuff, because that is overkill. So the nice thing about it is that you saw how fast the crystals will grow if we have the amount of ore, and once the crystal is started, they grow real quick. Whereas if we didn't have that ritual, I think they'd take forever to grow. So that's good. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and kill that. So now we've killed the ritual. And we need to clean up those 2 cursed earth rooms below. Probably the easiest thing to do there is just light them on fire. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. And we're going to get our flint and steel. So I think fire still cures cursed earth. And I think it also cures most monsters. So that ought to take care of that room. It's only 1 drop of evil to convert that entire room to cursed dirt. And I still have 21,000 drops of evil left. So if I decide I want to turn that room back to cursed earth, I may be able to do it a time or two. But for right now, we're going to do that. And that ought to settle that mess. And if we do start this back up, probably what I'll do is I'll center this in a chunk, as I should have done before. So I'll just move it over this way, roughly 7 or 8. Move that, over closer to the base. And then we'll make a very small and petite little area with either controlled spawns through something like the mob duplicator, or we will use cursed earth, but do it in a much smaller and more contained manner, in a way that we can turn it off and on, turn the lighting off and on, to sort of control that mess. And as we look down there, you can see the cursed earth is now turning back to normal dirt. All right, well, I think that's probably, I don't have no idea what the runtime is like now, but I think that's probably where we want to be. We have, from our little experimentation here, did I get more? Yeah, I got another 14. So we do have Demon Will crystals, which is what we wanted. And actually, do we have the juice now to make the... one of the main reasons we were doing all this playing around and insanity was to make the greater Tartaric gem. A demonic slate. I don't know if I have a demonic slate on me. Could probably turn off my cap locks. Let's see. No, I do not have any slate there. Reinforced, imbued. We could go turn this into a demonic slate real quick. And try and make our greater Tartaric. Let's see, so tar. Greater. Let's put that up there. So one of those we got, one of those, and one of those. We got all that. So we are in business. And we can end the episode on knocking off one more thing from the old quest book, which at this late stage in the game, a few hundred hours into this mod pack, that's all I'm starting to worry about. It's just closing out that quest book and starting a new world and a new adventure. So what am I looking for here? I'm looking for some of those whatchamajiggers. What are they called again? Blood shards. Blood shard. Okay, we got a few of those. Oops. I think we overcooked it. An ethereal slate. We definitely overcooked it. This is sort of why I set this system up, because now what I can do here is, so we don't overcook the next one when I ain't paying attention, which has been known to happen, is we can set it to suck a demonic one off when it happens, when it creates one. Because what will happen is that if you just leave one there, it'll just keep cooking it from living rock to blank slate to reinforced slate to imbued slate to demonic slate to ethereal slate. If you don't take it off, it'll just keep cooking it. But now, with that on there, it'll go from reinforced, it'll go to imbued, but it won't get sucked off because it's not whitelisted. Then the imbued will go to demonic, and the demonic will get sucked off before it gets turned into ethereal. So the other thing I need to do is I do not want to have serious unending nausea again anytime soon. So I got to figure out how to increase my current essence. I think what I do there is I throw one of my orbs back on here. Alright, so this came off, so we have a demonic. Let me pull my orbs out. Not sure if it matters which one. Alright, so there, if I do that, 108, 109, 110. Alright, so that's going back up and using blood to repower my sort of aerated blood network or life LP network. So we'll just let that go. Might use up all my blood, but I don't care at this point. See if we can get this off of there. We can. Good. Cursed Earth sounds like it's still burning. Make sure I'm not burning down anything else. Everything else seems okay. Let's try and make that Tartaric Gem and then call it an episode. So we are looking at this bad boy in our Hellfire Forge. We got all that stuff. I think we still have the power. Yeah, I was careful to guard this guy because I wanted to make sure we had the power to do this. So that goes there. That. This empty one can go there. That. And one of these, which was the whole exercise of that ritual. Oh, don't do this to me. So it needs 1,000 will, and it drains 100. Oh my goodness. Look at that. We're just shy. So I hope the runtime's not getting too long, but I'm going to go ahead and pull out the Sentient Sword. And I want to make sure that when I kill monsters, it goes into this guy and tops it off so that we can make our next one. So I'll put the other ones away. And now we're just going to run out here and try and whoop things. Let's find a few things to whoop. Come here, you. Whoop, whoop. You want some too? Alright. As I participate in a flying fail. Alright, so 997. We got to top it off. Couple more. You look like you need to die. And you look like you need to die. Am I fast enough to kill a creeper? Yes, I am. You can go away. Alright, we're up over 1,000. That's what we needed. And bueno, we are in business. And now we have a greater Tartaric. Sweet. And we have a quest book entry done. Sweet. Now we can see what we need for this bad boy. Oh, a nether star. Piece of cake. We got nether stars coming out of our nethers. So basically all I got to do is fill up. Let's see. I got to fill this guy up and then probably got to convert this guy to a grater. Fill this guy up, use it to convert this guy to a grater, and then fill it back up again, and then use that to turn our new grater into a grand. So since you guys have seen that process, I'll probably just do that in between episodes. But that's how you do. You sort of leapfrog. So you end up making 2 Tartaric gems, and then you just leapfrog them up. You use one to power the next, and then back and forth, yada yada. Alright, so even though that was far from optimal, we definitely made progress. Did not want to put that up there. have I got these down here? All right. Let's throw some of this stuff away in here, yada yada. All right, I think we're good to go. So that is done. This drained all my blood. So maybe I'll have to turn that ritual back on. But now we've got an easier way to turn that on. I can just activate it and let it roll. And can activate that and let that roll, and then come around here and use this to turn on some witches from safety. Being able to turn on your mob farms and turn them off from safety is definitely the way to go. Unlike what I just did on that damn cursed earth room. That was a bit insane. That was me being a bit too cocky about the fact that I'm invincible. Invincible doesn't help you when you have when you have creepers sprinting at you and exploding, blowing up your walls and stuff. It's like, I'm invincible, but the walls weren't. And they were coming too fast to kill. Alright, so this was all brand new to me. Totally brand new to me. But I think it was a successful experiment. So if we need to turn this back on, we will do so in a better informed and much more optimized way. And but, you know, that's why I'm playing this expert mod pack, is to force myself to learn a lot of this crap that I don't know about a lot of these mods that I've never played. Mission accomplished. I am learning. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye.